The truth about anti-immigrant protests in South Africa. What if I told you that in one of Africa's most developed countries, other Africans are being told to leave, not by foreigners, but by Africans themselves? And what started as everyday frustration slowly turned into something much bigger, something dangerous. Something the whole continent is now talking about. This is the story of South Africa and the rising tension between locals and immigrants from other African countries. South Africa is known as the Rainbow Nation, a place where different cultures, languages, and people are supposed to live together in harmony. But behind that name, life is not always peaceful. Every year, thousands of people cross into South Africa from countries like Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Ghana, Nigeria, and Ethiopia. They come with hope for jobs, hope for education, hope for survival. Some run away from poverty, others escape conflict, and many believe South Africa is the land of opportunity. At first, many of them settle quietly. They open small shops, they work goods on the streets. Some build businesses from nothing, but over time, tension begins to grow. Because in many South African communities, life is already hard.
Shut up and listen to what I'm saying, because you don't know why I'm here.
Unemployment is high. Young people struggle to find jobs, prices keep rising, and in townships where opportunities are limited, frustration builds quietly every day. And when frustration builds long enough, it always looks for something to blame. For some people, that blame becomes foreigners. They begin to say, foreigners are taking our jobs, foreigners are running businesses here, foreigners are making life harder for us. But at the same time, another truth exists. Many immigrants are not stealing jobs. They are creating their own survival. They open small shops that employ locals. They pay rent. They serve communities that big businesses often ignore. Many of them are just trying to survive the same harsh economy. But misunderstanding grows faster than truth, and slowly. Tension turns into anger. This anger did not appear overnight. It has history. Over the years, there have been waves of violence. In 2008, again in 2015, and later in 2019, where foreign-owned shops were attacked, people were displaced, and whispers fears spread across communities. Each time, the situation calmed down. But the root problem remained. Then something new made everything worse. Social media. Because now, one video can change everything. And that is exactly what happened. A video of a Ghanaian man, Emmanuel Asamoah, being confronted by anti-immigrant activists in South Africa went viral.
I is no longer working. We don't want this as African people anymore. We are tired of seeing African migrants moving all over the world, refusing to fix your own countries. Now we're making it very clear to you guys, Utitina, we don't want you here.
In that moment, the world stopped scrolling. People reacted with anger, sadness, and shock. Governments took notice. The Ghanaian authorities quickly stepped in to support affected citizens.
Welcome all of you to Ghana, your own country, to the motherland.
Some Ghanaians were assisted to return home safely. Officials said the action was taken because of growing safety concerns for nationals abroad. But here's the truth most people miss. It was not just one video that caused everything. That video was only a spark, revealing a fire that had already been burning for years. A fire of economic pressure, unemployment, inequality, and misunderstanding. At the same time, another movement was growing across Africa, a movement not of division, but of unity. People like Woda Maya travel across Africa showing success stories that rarely make the news. Young entrepreneurs, growing businesses, innovation, and hope. Others like PLO Lumumba speak passionately about African unity and self-reliance. And voices like Akon, the Music Man, talk about building and investing in Africa's future. Their message is simple: Africa does not need more division. It needs cooperation. Because while some people argue about borders and nationality, others are building bridges across them. But the question still remains. If South Africa continues on this path of tension and hostility, what happens next? Economically, businesses could suffer. Investors may lose confidence. Tourism could drop. Skilled workers may leave. Socially, communities could grow more divided. Fear could replace trust. And politically, relationships between African nations could weaken. But perhaps the biggest loss would not be money or trade. It would be unity. Because Africa is strongest when Africans see each other not as outsiders, but as brothers and sisters facing similar struggles. And yet, there is still hope, because not everyone supports hatred. Many South Africans reject xenophobia.
Exploding, you see. And so there is lots of rupture that is happening in our country, but the sad part is we are using primarily our own African brothers as the scapegoats.
Many immigrants live peacefully and contribute positively. Many leaders and youth groups continue to call for unity. So maybe the real problem is not the people. Maybe it is the pressure, the unemployment, the inequality, the frustration that has not been solved for years. And if that is true, then the solution is not division, it is understanding. So I leave you with this question. If Africa is one continent, with one shared history and one shared future, why are Africans still fighting Africans? And more importantly, will Africa choose division? Or will it finally choose unity?